Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
The numbers suggest we are winning the fight against coronavirus, but the battle isn't over. 40 more Michiganders have died in the past 24 hours from it, and there are 370 new cases of the virus.
Mayor Duggan says the city is ready to ramp up testing. He's telling all of Detroit's senior citizens to get one, and some won't even have to go anywhere to do it.
But we're going to begin with Governor Whitmer pleading for discipline as we watch the numbers fall in hopes that a second wave doesn't flood local hospitals.
That plea coming late this afternoon amid warmer weather and a scheduled protest tomorrow at the Capitol in Lansing.
Let's start things off here at 5 with Rod Maloney live with what the governor had to say as she continues to stand her ground, Rod.
Yeah, she does, Devin. And, she's saying that it takes a couple of weeks for the good news to really filter forward. She also says she doesn't see a lot of demand out there for businesses to get back open. The virus shutdown is causing economic wreckage, and the governor's already making arrangements to cut the budget, and state employees are about to take a major hit.
Impacted state employees will take 2 temporary layoff days per pay period, beginning on Sunday, May 17th, until July 25th, which will result in an estimated $80 million in decreased wage costs.
There's considerable pressure mounting to open state businesses. The governor remains reluctant to do so.
In Georgia, for instance, the governor said, let's all go back. People don't buy it. They're nervous. And so even though a sector of the economy is free to engage in business, it's hard to get customers to come out because they're scared.
There's going to be another protest in the Capitol lawn tomorrow.
It is when you're touching one another. We saw a lot of that at these protests at the Capitol. And that's how COVID-19 spreads.
Michigan State Police bracing for this protest, and Lieutenant Mike Shaw says that the long guns will get a long look.
You're going to see some on bicycles, you're going to see some on foot. You'll see probably our mobile command vehicle out there. And then there'll be some other troopers that are out in that area that you won't see, just making sure that everybody feels safe.
Now, the governor was asked about education funding. We talked about this last night, the possibility of as much as 30% budget cuts per pupil. The governor says she's not sure it's that bad. She's not sure where those numbers are coming from, but there's going to be a revenue estimating conference on Friday. She says we'll know better by then. Back to you.
Rod, the governor's emergency order regarding nursing homes and COVID positive patients was scheduled to expire tonight, right?
Yes, it is scheduled to expire, Devin. I put in requests to the governor to find out more about whether it's going to be extended. She has not gotten back to us, or her office has not. But there is one thing for certain. This whole nursing home issue is causing quite the stir. We'll have more on that coming up on Local 4 News at 6.
Yeah. All right, Rod, we'll see you then.
The city of Detroit is expanding COVID-19 testing for seniors at the State Fairgrounds site. Starting tomorrow, all seniors 60 and over that are Detroit residents will be able to get a free COVID-19 test without a prescription. Residents must show a proof of residency such as a driver's license, state or city ID, or a document showing a city address. And hazard pay will continue for city employees through phase 3 of Governor Whitmer's reopening plan. Mayor Duggan says although the numbers are declining, people must not drop their guard and continue to wear a mask.
Everybody in this city, when you're out, should be wearing a mask. All of us here, from the time we leave the house, put on the mask, and it's on until we get home. It's going to be that way in June. It's going to be that way in September. It's going to be that way in December. When I see somebody without a mask, it's not just rude. It's completely disregarding the health of your neighbors. Most people who have COVID-19 in Detroit right now don't know they have it.
And the mayor and his staff are practicing what they preach. Right after he wrapped up the news conference, all of them immediately, you see, they're putting on their masks. Today, the state announced 1.3 million Michiganders have received their unemployment benefits. That's about 92% of eligible applicants.
But we do know that getting that money has not been easy for a lot of people. And that was the topic of a committee meeting in Lansing today. Help me, Hank. My consumer investigator, Hank Winchester, has been digging into the problems. Hank, some people are still having trouble getting benefits, which is going to be so frustrating because they know that they're out there.
Yeah, Devin, that's the truth. I mean, I'll tell you what, I don't know if I believe that 92% number just based on the volume of emails I'm getting every day, messages on Instagram sent to us. But here's the reality. Things have improved greatly during the last few weeks, but those in Lansing want to know exactly what went wrong earlier this month. The Unemployment Insurance Agency before state leaders today in Lansing.
Although we've been performing well comparatively, there are still fixes that need to happen. We've now became clearer than ever that it can be hard to get unemployment benefits.
While many looking for unemployment benefits have had trouble logging on or calling, this is an opportunity to look at the situation step by step. Was enough being done to prepare for the onslaught of people filing?
In the last 2 months, historic volume has magnified areas where past decisions at the state and federal level have made it harder for some people to get benefits in a crisis. On average, before this crisis, just 26% of unemployed workers in Michigan receive unemployment benefits.
Some state leaders wanted answers and want to make sure something like this does not happen again.
Could you at least answer, do you feel like you were given enough time to plan from the time you were told until the announcement was made?
I have no doubt that, as soon as things were developing that we were kept in the loop and informed of it. But absolutely, I don't think anybody in the country had enough time or, even close to enough time to prepare for this.
Bottom line, it sounds like they just could never have guessed that more than 1.3 million Michiganders would be filing all within about the same 4-week time span. They also talked about new technology that could be rolling out soon, including an app that would help make things a little bit easier. But I still know some of you are struggling, that you have questions that you want answered. So we put a lot of resources for you, right on the Help Me Hank page at clickondetroit.com. I'm Hank Winchester. Help me, Hank.
All right, Hank, now to more fallout today from a top health official's warnings that reopening states too soon could lead to more death and delay an economic recovery in the process. And that's why the Federal Reserve Chairman today is warning the economic damage could become permanent if Congress doesn't act quickly with more relief money. Alice Barr in Washington with the latest. Alice.
Devin, President Trump continues to urge a swift economic restart, just as new data shows coronavirus cases building in parts of the country that have so far largely avoided the worst of the crisis.
Thank you very much.
President Trump meeting today with the governors of Colorado and North Dakota as leaders across the country look for guidance on safely reopening their states.
It's tough. Everything is a judgment call, and the governors are absolutely on the front lines. My goal, of course, is to reopen once.
Additional guidelines could come from the CDC, which drafted a blueprint for reopening that's been on the shelf since the White House ordered a rewrite, reportedly calling the rules too restrictive and broad across the country.
America needs and must have the candid guidance of our best scientists.
This, says troubling new data, shows the crisis shifting to America's heartland. An unpublished coronavirus task force report obtained by NBC News finding the top 10 areas with the largest weekly increase in cases are in the central and southern regions. Top health official Dr. Anthony Fauci drawing criticism from the right and praise from the left for raising the alarm that reopening states too quickly could set back the public health battle and economic recovery. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell saying today the longer health risks persist, the more likely businesses are to fail.
Deeper and longer recessions can leave behind lasting damage to the productive capacity of the economy.
Chairman Powell urging Congress to act quickly to shore up the economy. House Democrats are planning to vote this Friday on a $3 trillion emergency relief package, including another round of stimulus checks to Americans.
It isn't about politics, it's about humanity.
Republican leaders have already said they won't go along with the plan because they want to wait to see whether the first aid packages were effective.
In conflicting signs of what's to come, the California State University system announced plans to keep classes online this fall, while the governor of Arizona announced his state will reopen to professional sports leagues starting this weekend. In Washington, Alice Barr, Local 4.
All right, Alice, we've heard about a lot of athletes and highly active people who've tested positive for COVID-19.
And as people look to re-engage with normal activities, a return to sports is on people's minds. Dr. Frank McGeorge joins us with new recommendations for return to play after you've had COVID-19.
Yeah, Kim and Devin, one thing that's become apparent with COVID-19 is that it affects the body far beyond the lungs. The heart, in particular, can be damaged without a person even being aware of it. And that's why the American College of Cardiology just published an expert opinion on resuming sports in the era of COVID-19. The guidelines for returning to play for competitive athletes and highly active people after a COVID-19 diagnosis really relies on the degree of symptoms that a person had during their infection. Starting with the most severe, if a person is hospitalized with COVID-19 and they have evidence of heart injury by a commonly used blood test called a troponin, they should be restricted from exercise for 3 to 6 months while the inflammation resolves. Now, for hospitalized people with normal heart blood tests, they should rest without exercise until symptoms resolve, then have a medical evaluation after an additional 2 weeks of recovery, also without exercise. Now, for people with mild symptoms that do not require hospitalization, it's still recommended that you rest without exercise while you have symptoms, as well as an additional 2 weeks after recovery, followed by an evaluation by a medical provider for clearance to return to activity. Now, finally, for people who test positive but have no symptoms, 2 weeks of rest without exercise from the positive test date is recommended. And no matter what group you fall in, if you are diagnosed with COVID-19, even after you have been cleared to return to athletics, you should slowly resume activity over a period of 2 weeks. Now, the American College of Cardiology Council that wrote the guidelines does acknowledge that there is currently limited data to rely on, and that's why they are being very conservative in their approach. Back to you.
All right, Doc. Well, much more ahead. Here's Ben.
Kim and Devin, it looks so nice out there right now, but tomorrow we're looking at not only a heavy rain threat, but possibly severe thunderstorms, and it depends on where this warm front sets up. It's starting to push north into the southern portions of Michigan, and you can see it here as that rain starts moving in. We will be seeing not only the additional rain, but also the thunderstorm threat, and we'll look at more of that coming up.
All right, Ben, and if you think police are not pulling over speeders during a pandemic, better think again. New tonight, the message state police have for drivers. Larry.
COVID-19 is affecting everyone in the country. I'm Larry Spro, and I'll tell you how the pandemic is keeping kids away from their parents.
They talk about the 5 stages